One quiet night, a beautiful millionaire woman sat alone in her mansion. A terrible accident had already taken her legs. But that night, something even more terrifying happened. Her kitchen suddenly caught fire. Smoke filled the house. Flames grew higher, and she sat there in her wheelchair, with no way to escape. Then suddenly, sirens screamed outside. Firefighters rushed in. The fire disappeared in minutes. But what happened after the fire changed her life forever, because one firefighter looked at her differently, not with pity, but with something else, something that turned one frightening night into a love story no one expected. And what happened by the river the next evening will touch your heart in a way you never imagined. Before we dive into the incredible story, do not forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell button so you never miss our powerful, life-changing content. The smell reached me first. Burning oil. Sharp. Bitter. It drifted from the kitchen and wrapped around the quiet halls of my enormous house. My hands tightened on the wheels of my chair. Silence everywhere. No footsteps. No voices. Only the growing crackle of fire. Panic rushed through my chest. The house once felt like a palace. Marble floors. Tall windows. Sunlight pouring across polished counters. Tonight it felt enormous and empty. Flames danced across the stove. Orange light flickered across the cabinets. Heat pressed against my face as I pushed the wheels harder, turning the chair away from the kitchen. Memories flashed inside my mind. The accident. Metal screaming. Glass exploding. The quiet hospital room where doctors explained a future without legs. Strength grew inside me after that day. Money built this house. Strength built my life again. Yet fire moved faster than courage. Sirens cut through the night. Red lights washed across the walls. Boots thundered through the front door. Water roared. Strong voices filled the air. Within minutes the fire faded into steam and smoke. One firefighter walked toward me. Tall. Broad shoulders. Calm eyes behind a mask marked with soot. He knelt beside my chair. "You are safe now," he said gently. His voice carried warmth stronger than the fire. My hands trembled. Living alone carried pride during bright days. During dark nights that pride felt heavy. His eyes studied my face. He sensed the loneliness hiding behind courage. "If fear visits again, call me," he said softly while writing a number on a small card. I looked at him. A stranger. Yet kindness lived in his eyes. I gave him my number. Morning sunlight arrived with a quiet message. "Coffee later today?" We met at a small cafe near the river. Conversation flowed easily. Laughter filled spaces that once held silence. That terrifying night slowly transformed into something unexpected. Something warm. Something patient. Something growing between two people who understood pain. And his hand rested gently across mine as the evening light stretched across the water, and a feeling rose inside my heart that felt brighter than fire and stronger than fear, and the quiet voice inside me whispered that life still held beautiful surprises waiting just ahead as he leaned closer and spoke my name with a softness that made the world feel smaller and warmer, and suddenly the story between us began to unfold in ways neither of us ever imagined. As the night deepened and the city lights reflected across the river, and his voice carried another question that made my heart race again as he smiled and asked if tomorrow evening we might walk together beside the river while I guided my chair along the path, and he walked slowly beside me, and in that moment I felt something powerful growing between us, like a quiet promise waiting to bloom, and the future opened gently in front of us as the breeze moved across the water and his fingers brushed mine again, and the warmth of that touch filled my chest while the night continued to unfold, and the story between us kept moving forward into another moment that felt even more meaningful as he looked into my eyes and began to say something that changed the rhythm of my heart, and the sound of his voice carried across the quiet riverbank as the next chapter of our lives slowly began to take shape, and the feeling inside my chest grew stronger while the world around us faded into soft light and calm water, and his presence beside me felt steady and sincere as he turned toward me again and spoke with a tenderness that opened another door inside my heart, and the night continued to stretch forward with endless possibility, while our story kept moving into the next moment where his hand reached for mine again, and the warmth between us deepened as the quiet river carried our reflections into the darkness, and the future waited just ahead as he drew a breath and began to tell me something even more personal about the path that led him into my life on that night of smoke and flame and courage. and the words slowly formed on his lips while my heart listened carefully as the air around us grew still, and the next moment between us started to unfold with a promise that continued to grow stronger as he spoke, and I felt the first true sense of belonging returning to my life while the night held us there beside the water, and the story kept moving forward into another beautiful moment that continued to rise between us as his voice lowered again, and he leaned closer to tell me that from the moment he saw me sitting alone in that house surrounded by smoke, he felt something inside him shift, and the feeling followed him through the night and into the morning, and now here beside the river, he wanted to understand that feeling more deeply as the quiet space between us filled with warmth and anticipation, and I looked at him while my heart opened another inch, and the story continued to move gently forward into the next moment, waiting just beyond the sound of the river and the soft glow of the city lights, where his next words began to form while our lives slowly intertwined into something even more meaningful and enduring as the night carried us onward into the unfolding promise of what came next, and what waited just beyond this moment, where his hand remained in mine and the warmth between us continued to grow while the story kept moving forward into the next breath and the next heartbeat and the next quiet step of a love that had only just begun to reveal its true depth and beauty, as he looked into my eyes again and began to say that meeting me felt like fate guiding two wounded souls toward the same path, and that feeling continued to grow stronger with every passing second while the night around us held the beginning of something powerful that continued to unfold as the river flowed quietly beside us, and the future stretched gently ahead, and his voice prepared to reveal the next truth resting inside his heart, while I listened closely and felt the world slowly changing around us as our story moved into the next moment waiting to be spoken. His voice softened as the quiet river carried the reflection of distant lights. I felt something that night, he said slowly. Warm air brushed my face. The scent of water. The quiet rhythm of the current moving beside us. My fingers rested in his hand. Strong, steady, comforting in a way my lonely house never felt. A breeze moved across the riverbank. Leaves whispered above us. He looked at me again, eyes full of sincerity. Strength like yours changes people, he continued. His words settled deep inside my chest. For years people admired the mansion, the wealth, the elegant life. Very few people noticed the silence that lived inside those tall walls. He noticed. That realization warmed me more than the evening air. A couple walked along the path nearby. Soft laughter drifted through the trees. Life felt strangely peaceful. He stood slowly and moved beside my chair. River path ahead looks beautiful tonight, he said with a quiet smile. The paved trail stretched along the water, glowing under gentle lamps. He walked beside me as I guided my wheels forward. Stone beneath the tires. Cool air across my cheeks. For the first time in a long while the night felt alive. Not empty. Alive. He spoke about his childhood. A small town. Long roads. Hard days that shaped patience and compassion. His voice carried honesty. No pride. Only sincerity. I shared pieces of my life as well. The accident. The long hospital nights. The painful learning of independence again. He listened carefully. No pity in his eyes. Only understanding. The path curved gently near the river. Water shimmered like glass under the moon. He stopped walking. For a moment he studied the quiet surface of the water. Then he turned toward me again. There exists something powerful about people who rebuild their lives, he said. His voice carried emotion now. His hand rested lightly on the back of my chair. A simple touch, yet warmth spread through me. The kind of warmth that grows slowly and deeply. The river breeze lifted a strand of my hair. He reached forward gently and moved it aside with quiet care. That small gesture filled the space between us with something tender and unspoken. My heart beat faster. The world felt very still. He looked at me with thoughtful eyes, as if searching for something inside my soul. I want to know more about you, he said quietly. The lamps along the path glowed softly behind him. The night stretched around us like a calm ocean. I looked up at him. Something inside my chest opened wider. Hope. Real hope. The kind that arrives quietly after years of silence. He began walking again beside my chair, slower now. His hand remained near my shoulder. The path ahead curved deeper into the trees where moonlight filtered through tall branches and the sound of the river grew softer and more mysterious, and he leaned slightly closer while speaking again about how courage appears in unexpected forms, and how meeting someone strong enough to rebuild life from tragedy often changes the direction of another person's heart. And I listened carefully while guiding my chair along the gentle curve of the trail, and the calm rhythm of the wheels against the stone blended with the peaceful flow of the water beside us, while his voice continued with thoughtful warmth, describing how the moment inside my smoke-filled house stayed inside his mind long after the flames disappeared, and how something inside him felt drawn back toward me the following morning. And now, walking beside me here under the quiet moon, he felt certain that our meeting carried meaning deeper than coincidence. As the night breeze moved again through the trees and the path continued forward into another stretch of glowing lamps, where the story between us slowly moved into another moment waiting just ahead, while he stepped closer beside me and spoke my name again with a gentleness that made my heart respond with a quiet, powerful excitement, while the river flowed beside us and the future continued opening one peaceful step at a time. And his next words began forming slowly as he turned toward me again, ready to share something even more personal about the way this unexpected night had already begun, changing the direction of his life, while the quiet path continued deeper into the trees, and our journey moved forward into the next beautiful moment waiting to unfold between us. He slowed his steps beside my chair. Moonlight filtered through the tall trees and painted silver patterns across the path. "I think life brings certain people together for a reason," he said quietly. His voice carried sincerity that felt deeper than simple conversation. The wheels of my chair rolled softly over the smooth stones. The river whispered beside us. For years my nights ended inside a silent house, filled with expensive furniture and empty rooms. Tonight felt different, alive. His presence changed the rhythm of everything. We reached a wooden overlook that stretched gently above the water. He stepped forward and rested his arms on the railing. The river moved slowly below, reflecting the stars like scattered diamonds. I guided my chair beside him. Cool air brushed my face. Peace filled the space around us. "You know," he said softly, "during the fire I kept watching you." I looked at him. His expression remained thoughtful. Most people panic in moments like that. His eyes met mine again. "You stayed calm even while fear lived in your eyes." The memory of the flames flickered through my mind. The heat, the smoke, the helpless moment inside the kitchen doorway. Yet somehow that terrifying night carried me here, standing beside someone whose kindness felt genuine. He leaned slightly closer. "Strength like that inspires people." The words settled warmly inside me. For the first time since the accident, I felt truly seen. Not as a wealthy woman, not as someone in a wheelchair, simply as a person. The breeze moved across the river again. He reached down gently and placed his hand over mine, resting on the wheel. Warm, steady. My heart responded with a quiet flutter. Neither of us spoke for a moment. The silence felt comfortable, like two souls slowly learning each other. Then he smiled. "Tomorrow evening the town holds a small riverside festival." Soft lanterns glowed along the path ahead. Music drifted faintly from somewhere in the distance. "I would love to show it to you." Excitement stirred inside me. A simple invitation, yet it carried something deeper. A beginning. I nodded softly. His smile widened. Relief and happiness lit his face. We turned back toward the path, walking and rolling side by side again. The lamps guided our way through the quiet trees, while the night breeze carried the scent of spring flowers. Conversation flowed easier now. Stories, small laughter, gentle moments of shared understanding. Soon the lights of the city appeared beyond the trees. He walked closer beside me, his shoulder almost brushing mine. The warmth between us continued growing, quietly and naturally, as we reached the end of the path. He paused beside my chair again. His eyes held a thoughtful glow, as if another question waited on his lips. The street ahead shimmered with soft golden lights, and distant music floated through the air, while he leaned slightly closer, preparing to say something more meaningful about the strange, beautiful way our lives crossed paths on that frightening night, and how that moment inside my burning kitchen now felt like the beginning of something unexpected that continued growing stronger with every step we shared beside the river. And his hand remained gently over mine while the quiet evening wrapped around us, and the next words slowly began forming in his voice as the story between us moved forward into another moment waiting to unfold just ahead along the softly glowing street, where our journey continued deeper into a connection neither of us fully understood, yet both of us felt growing stronger with every heartbeat, while the night carried us toward the next beautiful moment that still waited to be spoken between us. The golden streetlights shimmered softly across the quiet road. He stood beside my chair, still holding my hand. A gentle warmth flowed between us. The music drifting from the town square grew clearer now. Soft violin notes, mixed with distant laughter. He looked toward the glowing lights ahead, then back at me. "Tonight feels special," he said quietly. Something sincere lived in his voice. Not excitement, not nervousness. Something deeper. The kind of calm certainty that settles slowly inside the heart. I studied his face under the warm light. Soot from the fire remained faintly along the edge of his jaw, a reminder of the moment our lives first crossed. "Life changes very quickly," he continued softly. His thumb moved slightly across my hand. Such a small motion, yet it sent a ripple through my chest. One unexpected moment can open a completely new road. The breeze carried the scent of roasted almonds from the nearby festival stalls. Lanterns swayed gently above the street. Families walked past us smiling, their voices full of life. For a long time my world remained limited to silent hallways and carefully planned routines. Now the world felt wide again, alive with color and sound. He slowly began pushing my chair beside him. The motion felt natural, comfortable, as if we had walked this path together many times before. Warm lights from the festival danced across the pavement. Children ran past holding glowing balloons. A musician played guitar beneath a tall oak tree, filling the night with gentle melodies. We reached the edge of the crowd. He leaned slightly closer. "May I guide you through?" he asked with a soft smile. I nodded. His hands rested lightly on the handles of my chair, steady and careful. We moved slowly between the lantern-lit stalls. Bright fabrics, sweet aromas, the cheerful hum of people enjoying the night. Every few steps he pointed out something new. A painter capturing the river on canvas. A small bakery stand filled with golden pastries. His voice carried excitement now, like someone sharing a favorite secret place. My heart grew lighter with every moment. Then he suddenly slowed. A small wooden platform stood ahead, decorated with glowing lanterns and soft music. Couples moved gently across the floor, swaying to the rhythm of the violin. He watched them quietly. Then his eyes returned to me. A thoughtful silence settled between us, the kind that arrives just before an important moment. He stepped in front of my chair, his expression filled with warmth. "Every person deserves moments of joy like this," he said gently. His hand extended toward me. The lantern light reflected in his eyes, and something tender rose inside my chest again. The music swelled softly around us, while people continued dancing under the glowing lanterns, and his hand remained offered in front of me, not with pity or hesitation, but with a quiet confidence that made the moment feel larger than the small wooden platform and the gentle violin melody drifting through the night. And I looked at his hand, feeling the warmth of possibility rising slowly through my heart, while the world around us softened into glowing light and music and laughter, and his voice lowered slightly as he began to explain. Something about how dancing sometimes begins with a single movement of trust between two people, and how rhythm exists in many forms beyond footsteps, and how he believed that tonight already carried its own quiet rhythm between us. As the lantern swayed above and the music deepened and my fingers slowly lifted from the wheel of my chair, while the next moment of our story started forming gently between us, and the warm night air wrapped around the space where our hands moved closer together as the violin continued playing and the festival lights shimmered across the pavement, and his eyes held mine while the beginning of another unexpected moment prepared to unfold. Between us, right there beneath the lanterns where the music waited patiently, and the next heartbeat of our journey quietly approached as his fingers moved a little closer, ready to guide the story forward into whatever beautiful moment followed next, while the sound of the violin carried softly through the warm glowing night. My fingers slowly reached his. The violin continued its gentle melody, while lanterns swayed above us. For a moment the world grew quiet. My hand rested in his, warm and steady. He smiled softly, as if this simple touch meant more than 1,000 words. I believe every soul carries a rhythm, he said. His voice blended with the music. Sometimes it takes another heart to hear it. He guided my chair gently onto the edge of the wooden platform. Couples continued dancing around us, their movements flowing like waves of light. Then he did something unexpected. He stepped beside me, placed one hand over mine on the wheel, and slowly moved with the music. Not dancing with footsteps, dancing with presence, with kindness. The chair rolled slowly in rhythm, circling beneath the warm lantern glow. Laughter escaped my lips, a sound I had almost forgotten. The crowd around us smiled. Yet the moment belonged only to us. The fire that once filled my kitchen now felt like a distant memory, a frightening night. That opened a door neither of us expected. The music slowly faded. Lanterns flickered softly above the platform. He knelt beside my chair again, looking into my eyes with calm sincerity. Life sometimes breaks pieces of our plans, he said gently. His words carried quiet wisdom, but broken moments create space for new love to grow. I felt the truth of that sentence deep inside my heart. For years I believed the accident ended the beautiful parts of life. Yet courage slowly rebuilt my world, and kindness brought someone walking into it. He stood again, offering his arm as we left the platform together. The river shimmered beyond the festival lights, calm and endless. Our path stretched forward beside it, full of quiet possibilities. And in that peaceful moment I understood something simple yet powerful. That life often places people through storms of fear, pain, and loss, yet those storms sometimes guide hearts toward unexpected kindness and real connection. And the greatest strength a person can carry through hardship comes from compassion, patience, and the willingness to stand beside another soul with understanding, because when two people share courage and kindness, even the darkest night can slowly transform into a beautiful beginning. And the river continued, flowing beside us while we moved forward together beneath the warm lantern light, ready to discover whatever new chapter waited along the path ahead.